Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly reading for the collective consciousness for, where are we, May 8th through the 14th. Okay, so the second week of May essentially. So before I jump into it, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Please like and subscribe. Like this video if it resonates with you, and if you like the content, subscribe if you like and want to see more content like this. And it also really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps more people find more content like this. So really appreciate if you do that. And of course, I love the comments, guys. Any comments that you have, I always interact. So throw them down below. Comments, questions, concerns, feedback. I welcome all feedback. Just be kind. That's all I ask. And also let me know if this resonates with you. Come back to the video. Halfway through the week, or as the week has finished, and just make any comments and see if it resonated for you, or how this reading and the energy manifested for you. I'd love to hear that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's jump right into it, guys. Like I said, May 8th through the 14th. So I'm doing 3 decks here, same as last week. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and start. All right, so what do we need? Action needed. Oh yeah, and these are pre-shuffled, as you guys know. Okay, so we have Come to the Edge. Okay, so makes sense. This is basically saying like getting ready to jump, basically getting ready to go for what we need. So the energy that I'm feeling for this is how do I say this? Not necessarily making sure all your T's are crossed, I's are dotted, but making sure that you're ready, okay? So I definitely do feel like there's this energy of making sure that we're actually ready for what we're going to receive. Making sure you're in the energy of being able to receive, and making sure you're ready for the next chapter. So yeah, that could be like kind of a, it's kind of spirit saying like preparation, but it's more so like checking your energy and making sure your energy is good. Because what is coming, what you truly want, you have to be able to be ready to receive it. Okay, that's definitely what's coming through for that. Let me see what you need here, because that might give us a little bit more clarity there, because you definitely, like I said, do need that. Okay, so also trusting in the unknown. So this is all about trust. So definitely this week we're starting out with let me put my water bottle down here. Trusting in the unknown. So let's put it this way. I definitely don't necessarily feel like it's going to be one of those weeks of like aha moments, like super clarity, okay? And not being able to kind of see how things are going to work themselves out. So here's what I'll say about this that I'm getting strongly from it, is that this week might add a little bit more confusion, but that's okay. Like, it's intended to be that way, and Spirit is asking us to cultivate more trust in the unknown. So things are going to be a little bit more up in the air. So it's not a week of figuring things out to the T, it feels like. Like, it doesn't feel like necessarily that everything is kind of like wrapping up and, feeling super wrapped up in a nice bow and like very super clear. And that's okay, because it's not intended to be that way. At least that's what it's coming up through here. So I definitely do want to say that. It does require, like I said, some level of trust, obviously, but definitely some level of being open to what comes your way. But yeah, what you guys need is just trusting that everything is going to work itself out, and even if you don't have the clarity this week, okay? Not that I feel like you guys will become more confused, but if you're looking for more clarity this week, it doesn't really feel like it's going to happen for you. Let me put it that way. So we'll do the rest of the reading to get more clarity, obviously. Okay, so we have more clarity. I see what I did there. Okay, so we have mentor, but it came upside down as I pulled it. It says inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. Okay, so this is challenge in the way of moving on. So this is actually inability for the student to become the master. So this feels like you guys have to watch out for this week. Most of you guys, this is coming through like really strongly, is like telling yourself that you need more training, basically, like saying that you're not ready. Okay, so basically, first of all, I know we're all going through like massive changes. It definitely does feel like we're right on the edge. I know I keep saying that, but it keeps creeping in. Okay, but Spirit is asking us to be open to receive and making sure that we're in a place where we can actually get the things that we're actually asking for, or the things that we're kind of looking forward to. But this is also like almost like a self-sabotage kind of feeling that I'm getting here, where we feel like we continuously need more training before moving on. That's not what Spirit is saying here. Spirit is saying like, no, you're ready. You've got to get your energy right. You've got to get your mindset right. You've got to get your feelings right. You've got to get yourself right about what you're ready to receive, and where you're ready to go. Like it's all about kind of like being ready is like the best way I can kind of say it for whatever's coming up next for you guys. And so if this this just feels like a self-sabotage in the way of like, no, I need more training to do this, I need more training to do that, I'm not necessarily ready. Spirit is saying, no, like you are ready. You're definitely ready. And that's the challenge this week, is you're not going to feel necessarily ready. And you don't feel like you could be the teacher. You don't feel like you could be the master. You don't feel like you're ready for that, but you are. It's not about more courses. It's not about more self-development. Oh, I can't do this until I do that. It's not about that. This is about kind of going for it. So let's keep pulling cards, because this is getting juicy now. So that feels like very challenging for you. Surprise, message in a bottle. Okay, so we have, interesting that this is coming up, because this is communication. So there might be a surprise. Oh gosh, I'm messing all of these up here. Okay, there might be a surprise in communication from somebody. So I'll definitely throw that out there. I definitely do feel like it's somebody that can help you, since it's following these three cards here. It definitely could be it could definitely be about these issues where you don't feel necessarily ready. So there might be surprise communication coming in from somebody that really helps you feel ready. Let's put it this way. This is how I'm receiving it. It's like somebody that helps you feel more wise. So this could definitely be somebody from the past. We're still in Mercury retrograde, so that makes sense. And somebody coming back from the past and maybe like helping you, and it's a good surprise, like it's a positive surprise, like helping you see how far you've come and how ready you actually are. Okay, so that is a surprise communication in a positive way for sure. Okay, any issues this week? Broken arrow, embrace the energy of peace. Okay, so yeah, this is again, I'm feeling like a little bit of self-sabotage. Guys, watch the self-sabotage this week, okay? Because broken arrow, embrace the energy of peace. The issue here is broken peace, basically, is the best way I can say it. So, and anytime I see that, like it's not coming from other people, it's definitely coming from within. Like we're creating our own suffering. Most times that's what we're doing, is creating our own suffering. So, and it could be, like I said, not feeling ready, but that's just an illusion. That's just their perspective that really needs to shift. So guys, that could be a really big issue this week. Do not disturb your own peace. It's like a good way to say it. Focus. What do we need to focus on? Okay, we have slave, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Okay, so we have trust again, okay? And this is taking ownership, right? You don't want to be a slave to your negative thoughts. You don't want to be, a slave to your feelings. Like this is all about freedom, and focusing on that, and focusing on how you'll feel more, in a more empowered place of freedom is the best way I can kind of say it. So focusing on the feeling is important, of that feeling of freedom, right? Because, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. So you kind of just have to break through that and get to that freedom, right? So that's what we really need to focus on, is what makes you feel the most free. That's a good actual journal prompt for this week, okay? What do we need to reflect on? Chop wood. Okay, so chop wood is, it is about, I'm not surprised that I came up with the come to the edge here. It's about doing the little things, having humility. So I definitely do feel like it's a lot of reflecting. And this reflecting on how do I say this? Past accomplishments, how far you've come, I don't know if this is the right way to kind of say it, but all on the wisdom that you've gathered, like, and basically Spirit is kind of saying like over the last like few years. Okay, so this is like you're going back, we're reflecting way back, years back. But it definitely brings a lot of humility. But it definitely helps with this challenge here about moving forward as the master, basically, because wisdom is, and there's some wisdom kind of coming from that because, Father Sky, trusting the unknown, it's about being wise, right? It's that knowing that, after all of these experiences that you've been through, like in the last few years, like it helps you build trust, but not only trust, like it helps you really understand how the universe works and how life works. And you gain, if you can get through that stuff, you can kind of get through anything. So it really brings about like this really wise energy that I'm getting, because that's what the master is, right? The master is the ultimate, now they can mentor, right? Because they've been through it, right? And so this is going to be really good to reflect on what you've been through, because not only can you teach it, but you can master it. Okay, so this is about like getting ready. If I could really, I know we're only about halfway through, but if I could say anything about like this week, like the general energies that are kind of coming through, it's like about mastering your craft, uniqueness, higher self. You're ready for mastery, whatever that happens to be, and you're ready to, you're getting ready, you're almost there. Like it's seriously like you're on the edge, right? Come to the edge, like you're right there to kind of move forward with this new found mastery. So let's pull more cards to get more clarity here. So let's see what the responsibilities actually are this week. Mountains, stand your ground. Okay, so you have a responsibility to stand your ground, meaning like not backing down. So I definitely do feel like most of you guys, oh gosh, these keep going all over the place. Okay, most of you guys are going to be, I don't want to say tested, but I definitely do feel like it's a week of making sure you're standing your ground, holding your own, making your point, standing by your opinion, standing by your viewpoint. Now, it's not in the way of the ego, meaning like, yes, you can be wrong. Yes, you can be open to, especially it being next to more of like the humility coming through here in that card, but chop wood. It's more about when you know the truth, right? And this is like part of your wisdom too. And so this is about not backing down, and you have a responsibility to do that. So for some of you guys, it definitely does feel like maybe in the avenue of like social change, or it could be standing up to somebody, or it could be standing up for a cause, standing up for somebody. But I definitely do feel like at least half of you guys, it's something socially, social change of some kind, just standing up. But because it's actually, I'm getting like a lot of wisdom here in this, this quadrant here. It definitely does feel like you're now able to, and because it's like a responsibility, you're able to kind of communicate how you feel and stand your ground in a more responsible, wise, mature type way. And it's definitely going to be extremely effective and efficient this time around. So look out for any opportunities that kind of come that way where you have the ability to do that. But I see it going like really well for you guys, if that makes sense. All right, money and finances. Okay, shapeshifter. Skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. Perfect. Shapeshifter is a great money and finances card. You guys know that I count this too as career. This is shapeshifter. So this tells me be open. I did get some open energy I already mentioned here. But be open to, shape-shifting, meaning like if you're working in a corporate job and they ask you to do something that's kind of out of your comfort zone or not part of your job, or it's something that you don't even know the skills to do it, or whatever, do it anyway. And I feel like you'll be able to do it with ease. But that shapeshifter is going to be in your favor. So it's going to be attached to abundance, money, finances, career abundance, prosperity, promotions, that kind of thing. So I definitely do feel like it's a really good week. Do not turn down any opportunities that allow you to kind of dip your toe into like a different area of the business, of your business, of the business, your career, like whatever. I definitely do feel like it's in your favor to kind of do that, and just like I almost just feel like you're being like called to do it, and called to do it meaning like it's an opportunity that presents itself. So you don't have to like look for it necessarily, but like just don't ignore any opportunities that kind of come your way for you to be the shapeshifter. Okay. All right, let's see change here. So unfinished symphony. Okay, so unfinished symphony to me means unfinished business. So it really has a lot to do with what I said about come to the edge. I would say come to the edge is definitely a lot more similar to unfinished symphony than it is to chopped wood, but all of these are really kind of talking about finishing something up before you're ready for something. So I'm not surprised that's here. So basically it's saying finish things up before the change can happen. The change is really right on the edge. Okay, you're almost ready for that change where you're now going to be a master at whatever you have been trying to master in the last few years, basically. I wish I had an example. I can only kind of use myself. Sorry, I don't need to like talk about myself, but like sometimes I feel like it's easier for people to relate. But I've been going through health issues. Actually, it technically started like 3 years ago. But I feel like I'm very, very close. And I'm almost, I have grown so much in the last 3 years from it. It has matured me very faster and quicker than I could have imagined, essentially. And I feel like I'm coming out of it as like somebody who, could master their health in a way. I'm about to, become like the healthiest person in the whole freaking world, I feel like, because of all the information and stuff that I've learned, and how my health was kind of taken away from me, and now that's all I want, is my health back. And so that feels like that's my change. So I feel like I'm like right there, and I have to take everything that I've learned and kind of gone through, and then I'm now going to be the master. Okay, because there's this feeling of, while we're going through these things, sometimes these like feelings of like powerlessness, and not feeling like, and we've gotten a lot of like empowerment cards lately, in the weeks and the month and that kind of thing, where it's not going to be like that anymore. It's almost like this quiet confidence that we're moving into about what we just went through, that just accelerated us, and like I said, matured us, and we're just kind of like ready for the next chapter. Like we're so freaking close. It's just Spirit is making sure that we're like, are you sure you're ready for it? Are you ready for it? These are some things that you kind of have to just like close up shop, before we actually deliver, before it's actually delivered. So I hope that makes sense, but that's kind of how I'm relating to it. Friends, guardian angels. Oh my God, yes, you are not alone. Yay! Okay, so great week for friends, guys. Really wonderful week. This really not too much to say about this. Guardian angel, you're not alone. So lean on your friends this week. I definitely do feel like, especially your soulmate friends, for example. But I definitely do feel like they're angels, and this is not a week. It's not like, it's like the opposite of like the orphan card, basically, which I think we got maybe a couple weeks back, but it definitely feels like a really great week for friendships. So lean on your friendships if you need. They will not disappoint. Romantic connection. We have engineer. Ability to give creative energy a practical expression. Talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. Okay. Ability to give creative energy a practical expression. Okay. So this is not negative, and I wouldn't say this is positive. This is somewhere neutral, where it's saying how to, what's the best way to say this? How to figure things out is the best way I can kind of say it. How to structure things to really make sure that we're on the right track in our romantic connection. So and the way that I think about the engineer is kind of like emotions removed, where it kind of just feels like, okay, let's talk about the structure of this, let's talk about how to plan this, etc., etc. So I definitely do feel like the emotions are removed, and not in a bad way. Like I said, it's neutral. Like, it's not a positive and it's not really a negative. It's just like, how do we see things and structure it accordingly? So I don't know, if you're in a romantic relationship and you're planning a wedding, like maybe doing all of the planning with the emotions removed from the planning would be really, you know, would be really beneficial for you. That's just the example that just popped into my head. I keep seeing a wedding, you know. I don't think most of you guys are getting married or anything, but it just feels like that's how it, like, spirit is kind of conveying it to me, is like, it needs to be very like structured and in place. Like, everything needs to be in place. So again, it's like another, like, you know, is everything in place before, you know, before you're ready for it, you know, like that kind of thing. So it's just kind of like setting it up to be, you know, and on the card it says more practical. And for designing resolution, like it's about conflict resolution without the emotional piece of it. So it's just about more planning and more structural foundations this week when it comes to your romantic relationships. If you're single, this could be removing the emotions from dating and doing it from a more practical way, doing it from a more conflict resolution way, any way that you can fit that to work. But again, it does feel like a lot of like removing, you know, the emotions from it and being able to really plan ahead and structure it so it could turn out the way that you really truly desire it to. I hope that makes sense. The engineer is sometimes a little confusing there. Okay, important. Okay, by the book. So this week, something important to know. By the book is also, so it's very interesting that we have two cards here around structure. It looks like structure is going to be not only in your romantic connections, but important overall. So this definitely does feel like a week of like structuring things out, which I think is very interesting, because the structure to me is the masculine energy, and then we have the need here, which is the trust in the unknown, being open, you know, going with the flow, with that kind of thing, is definitely more feminine. So I definitely do feel a little bit of the feminine energy here, obviously, and then we have some of the masculine. So you need some of the feminine, but it's important that you also incorporate some of the masculine. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely do feel a lot more masculine stuff happening here, energy happening here. So I definitely do feel like it's a more week of the doing. It's a more, you know, I would say maybe these two, because obviously you're reflecting, right? That takes a lot of like introspection, you know, thoughtful processing, that kind of thing. So these do definitely feel like more of the feminine, but like I said, I feel like all the other cards kind of exude this masculine energy. So it's definitely more about the doing. It's about the planning. It's about the getting ready. It's about the active communication, that kind of thing. So I definitely do feel like it's about like getting things done. And making sure, like I said, you're ready for the next chapter in any way, shape, or form. So by the book is always about structure and make sure you're playing by the rules, that kind of thing. So I will say this week, just watch out for like, it's not necessarily a week to be a rebel, let's put it that way. And so going by the books and doing things, you know, by the rules and in a more structured manner will serve you this week. If you kind of veer off that path, I think things will kind of, you know, things won't necessarily go the way that you intended them to go. But this could really kind of pertain to anything if you think about it. So this is definitely more about like however it applies to you. If there's like a way that you can get around the rules or you break the rules of some kind, it's going to have, it feels like, at least for some of us, it's going to have consequences that aren't necessarily in our favor. So this is the week, you know, it's coming up in the important for a reason. So this is definitely a week to be a little bit more by the book, okay? So let's check out our health and wellness. Shaylin Master, be graceful in movement and action. Okay, so this is about going slow. I still feel like, even though it's saying going slow, I definitely do feel like this masculine energy coming through, even with this card, meaning like the things that you're doing, do them very, you know, when I think about wisdom, if there's one word I can kind of say that like really it's wisdom and mastery that really come through for this, is because it's really about moving forward in a more wise, mature fashion. That's what it feels like the next chapter for all of us is, at least for the collective, is just doing that and moving forward. And this is about moving forward, but it's saying be graceful at movement and action. It's not about moving really fast and hustling. And I'm actually not super against hustling. You know, I actually resonate with the word, at least I have most of my life, but sometimes we have to just be more graceful and thoughtful and meticulous, I guess. I mean, guys, I know I keep saying it, but like very wise, like we're moving forward, but in a very calculated, in a positive way. We're not just doing things to just do things, or just doing things to move forward. We're moving forward in a more calculated, intentional type way. And that's what it's saying about this. And pertaining to health and wellness, this means our health and wellness too. So this means the way that we relieve stress, the way that we self-care. It's all going to be more intentional, and we're going to have more wisdom even doing something like that. Okay, so that's what that's saying. Okay, and then overall outcome, we have students, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Love that. Okay, so even though, like I said, if there's two words, it is definitely wisdom and it's definitely mastery. So it's interesting that we have the student, but it's really all about, the student is always about humility and openness and willing to learn. And so, and to me, actually, I find that that's pretty perfect, because the wise person knows that there's always more to learn, okay? The wise person is not a know-it-all, right? The wise person doesn't use their ego and say, oh, I already mastered this, you know, I don't need to know anymore. Like that kind of energy, it's not like that. The wise person, and you'll know that because, like I said, you are the wise person now. You're transforming into the sage, into the the enlightened one, is another way to kind of say it. So, but the enlightened one doesn't mean that there's not that they believe they're a know-it-all. This isn't know-it-all. This is mastery. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Even an expert can learn more and always continue to learn, because that just shows humility and devotion to the craft, right? That's kind of what the student is trying to say. So overall energy just feels like the humble wise one is the best way to kind of say it. The humble wise one who has mastered their craft, and that's what we're kind of moving into. That's what we're kind of transforming into. So very transformative week. Like a lot is like really kind of like happening here, but I see it as a positive. I feel like I do want to say that it feels a little bit more like a quiet week. Like it doesn't feel like too much is happening, and it doesn't feel like there's any like, the surprise with the communication is actually a positive surprise. So like don't be surprised if like not too much happens, is like what I'm trying to say. Like a lot of this stuff is very like theoretical in a way, and a lot of the stuff is energy, so I don't see a lot of like too much like physical things necessarily happening, but it feels like a positive week, and like a week going into, like it's just like it feels like the next step for your journey and preparing you for that next step. So looks really good to me. So guys, I want you to have a wonderful week. Like I said, please comment below if it resonates with you. Questions, comments, concerns, feedback, I take it all. So have a wonderful week, guys, and I'll see you in the next week, okay? All right, bye, guys.